MPP Mamakwa, thanks so much for taking some time here for us. There have been a lot of statements released in the last couple of days over Bill 5, nation after nation, saying they strongly oppose the passage of the bill. The Ring of Fire has been talked about for like 2 decades. Why do you think the bill needed to be passed so quickly?
I think the Bill 5, Unleashing the Economy Act, was passed by this government on the intent of that, thinking that they would use the tariff war as an excuse to access the resources, the North. And I think, and they did that with no engagement, with no duty to consult with the people that live in these homelands, right? And I think it's important that to acknowledge that, because what it basically does, the approach that they're doing, and government continues to say that they honor and respect treaty rights, that they honor and respect First Nations, but when you look at the drafting of the bill, the way they've written it up, with no consultation at all, and then the way it's written, it's totally the opposite. So I think that's why it's again, you cannot use the tariff war to make an excuse to access the territories that we live in, the homelands that we live in. And I think that's the big issue. And it's almost like they don't even acknowledge, honor, or respect the enshrined the rights that we have as First Nations people, talking about inherent rights, treaty rights, and the rights that we have.
Niskantika First Nation, one of many, like I said, nations putting out statements. They're saying any attempt to fast-track mining and infrastructure development in their territory without their consent would be met by their people on the ground. How possible do you think it is that we'll see First Nations-led blockades?
I think since it's only not even a week since the bill was passed, so it's only been 5-6 days since it passed, and I can see on the calls that I've received from rights holders, First Nations, they're talking, they're organizing, and I think you will continue to see these kind of demonstrations, but I think you will continue to see, things elevated if there's no response. And I think that's the message I'm receiving, and that's something that that I tried to warn this government, this ministers, that they cannot again just do the way things are going now. And I think you will see this coming summer, you will see a lot of these demonstrations or direct actions.
There is a protest outside of the Ontario Minister of Indigenous Affairs, Greg Rickford's office in Kenora today. They're calling for his resignation, including others like the Ontario Federation of Labour also calling for his resignation. Do you support those calls?
On the last day when we were sitting in the House, I think that's one of the things the Ontario NDP called for his resignation, because he's supposed to work with us on some of the legislation, and he's working against us, and it's almost like bringing back the old Indian affairs from 100 years ago, and that's how he's operating, and working against us, and it's something that I think he's lost the trust of First Nations, and you see it in these letters, and he's not welcome in some of these territories. They won't even acknowledge him. So I think that's what we're seeing, and that's the mistake that the Premier Ford needs to let him go, and because we need someone who can do a better job in representing us.
MPP Mamakwa, we'll have to leave it there, but appreciate you taking some time for us.
All right, thank you for having me.